This past 4th of July, Donald Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. And if you make money in the United States, file taxes in 2024, or plan to file taxes in the US, you need to know how this affects your 2025 return. Some call it the OBBBA, others OBQ. I personally like to refer to it as the BBL bill because the name is stupid, so why not have some fun with it, am I right? But whatever you call it, this bill cemented some upcoming and retroactive changes into law, meaning it's going to affect how you file your taxes this year. While there is a lot to be said about this bill, I want to cut through some of the noise and show you exactly what made it into the final bill and how it will affect your taxes so that you can make your most informed financial decisions. How's it going? If you're new here, I'm Spencer Johnson, and I'm the lead tax preparer and tax strategist at TaxMaster USA. And as someone who has been tracking this legislation for months, I can tell you that there are some major surprises in here that could save you thousands or wind up costing you if you're not prepared. But before we dive in, I must preface that this content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, tax, or financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and you should always consult a qualified professional regarding your unique situation. Now, with that out the way, let's get into it. Remember these promises from the campaign trail? No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. Sorry, I've got a terrible Donald Trump impression. No tax on overtime, renewing of the SALT 2017 tax cuts, and adjusting the SALT cap. Yeah, it's really bad. I'll stop. Well, we got some of these, but not exactly how they were pitched. This 940-page bill passed through reconciliation, meaning Republicans could pass it with just 51 votes in the Senate, but it went through a few iterations. The House version was different from the Senate version, and what we ended up with is a compromise that's going to impact every American taxpayer, starting with your 2025 tax return. First, let's talk about what's on everyone's mind. Are your tax rates going down? The answer is yes, for most people, and these changes are now permanent. Without this bill, in 2026, your tax rates would have jumped back up to the pre-Tax Cuts and Jobs Act percentages. Many provisions from the TCJA were set to sunset, meaning we would all see a noticeable increase in our taxes come April 2026. But now, these lower tax rates from 2017 were beefed up a bit and are locked in forever, meaning, hey, I'm about to break out some of the individual tax rates, income limits, i.e. I'm about to throw a lot of numbers at you. So if you're enjoying the information but want the TLDR version, jump to this point now. Still with me? Nice. You actually want to understand your money. You're my kind of people, so let's get back into it. Are locked in forever, meaning the first tier of tax bracket stays at 10% for people making up to $15,750 a year. The second tier will remain 12% instead of 15% for people making between $15,751 all the way up to $64K. The third tier will stay at 22%, down from 25% for people making between $64,000 and $107,000 a year. If you're making over $107K but less than $205,000, your taxes will stay at 24% instead of bumping up to 28%. If you're making over $205K, you'll be taxed anywhere from 32 to 37%, with the top rate now being capped at 37%, down from 39.6%. The bottom line, if you're making over $50,000 a year, you're likely to be paying less in taxes. And it gets better. They didn't just cement the lower tax rates, they also gave the standard deduction a little boost. In tax year 2024, the standard deduction was $14,600 for single filers and $29,200 for married couples. In 2025, the standard deduction will be $15,750 for single filers and $31,500 for married couples. This means that even if you're in that lower income range where the tax rates didn't change very much, you're still going to be getting a bigger deduction. And that's a nice little bit of money that's going back in your pocket. Now let's get to those campaign promises and see what actually made it into law. Campaign promise no tax on tips. This one was partially delivered. You can now deduct up to $25,000 in tip income, but only if you make under $150,000 as a single person or $300,000 if you're filing as a married couple. It's a deduction and not a complete elimination of taxes. Campaign promise number 2, no tax on overtime. Again, partially delivered. You can now deduct up to $12,500 in overtime pay with the same income limitations as above. Again, it's a deduction, not elimination of tax. Campaign promise number 3, no tax on Social Security. This did not happen. Instead, seniors get a $6,000 additional deduction if they make under $75K. It's not the same thing as not having any tax on Social Security, but it will make Social Security tax-free for many seniors. Campaign promise number 4, state and local tax, or affectionately known as SALT tax, deduction cap adjustments. See, this one did happen, but it's only temporary. The cap goes from $10,000 to $40,000, but only through 2029. Then it goes back down to $10,000. And you have to be making under $500,000 to qualify. There are also a few things that weren't campaign promises that also made it into the bill, like the child tax credit permanently increased from $2,000 to $2,200 per child. Now, I made a whole video on the changes that are going into effect for families, and if you have a family or are planning to start a family, you should definitely check that one out. You can also now deduct up to $10,000 in car loan interest annually through 2028, but only for cars that were assembled in the United States. There is also the introduction of Trump accounts. So if you have a baby between 2025 and 2028, the government is going to deposit $1,000 into a special investment account that they can access at 18. And then for seniors, that $6,000 deduction I mentioned earlier can be taken by any senior age 65 or older, making under $75,000 or $150,000 if you're a joint filer, even if you aren't drawing from Social Security. So here's what the wealthy and their advisors are focusing on right now. This bill is retroactive to January 1st of 2025. So that means if you receive tips, worked overtime, or if you're a senior, you need to start tracking this stuff now for your 2025 tax return. If you're a business owner, there are even bigger opportunities that I'll cover in an upcoming video. Things like 100% bonus depreciation and the permanent QBI deduction that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. The key here is documentation. The IRS is going to want to see proof of your tip income, overtime hours, and business expenses. So take this as your cue to start organizing now. Look, this bill is far from perfect. We're losing valuable clean energy credits introduced by the Biden administration's Inflation Reduction Act. The bill also makes deep cuts to Medicare and SNAP benefits while giving both DoD and ICE $150 billion each. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that this is going to add up to $3.25 trillion to the national debt over 10 years. And some of these provisions are only temporary, so creating uncertainty and teeing up future congressional showdowns. But for middle-class families, working people, and seniors, there are real tax savings here that are going to start with your 2025 tax return. I'm going to be breaking down each section of this bill in detail: business opportunities, family planning strategies, and specific guidance for seniors. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos. And while you're here, drop a comment below. What part of the bill affects you the most? Are you getting that tip deduction? Are you or your parents going to claim the senior bonus? Or are you a business owner interested in these new depreciation strategies? And more importantly, if this helped clarify what's actually in this massive bill, share with someone who needs to know. The more people who understand what's actually happening with their taxes, the better prepared we all are. Well, that's all I got for this one. I'll catch you in the next one.